Welcome back to this class. In this section, we're going to talk about variable scope. Let me quickly create a file. I'll call this scope.js, and we want to talk about variable scope. What do we mean by variable scope? Variable scope determines where in a program a given variable is accessible. Let's declare some variables because we want to talk about accessibility here. Let's name be equal to James. So we've created a variable called James. Let's create another one. Let age be equal to 25. Okay, we have created two variables here. One thing you need to know is that not all programming languages use the same scoping rules. For example, JavaScript, which we are looking at, it uses lexical scope, otherwise known as static scoping. This is the idea that variables that are created in one part of a program might not be accessible in another part. That means these variables we've created here, they could be accessible in some part or they may not be accessible. That is what we want to talk about. I'll take, for instance, let's create a function. Let's total. Okay, the name just came to mind, but it is a function we want to declare, and then we want to just pass in these two parameters we've created. The first one is name. Sorry about this. Okay, we've passed in this value here, and then okay, let's run this by calling the total function. If we run this now, we save and we run node scope.js. Your name is James. This has been printed. I'll declare something inside here. Let name2 be equal to some name, Samad. Okay, we have declared another name inside of this. Let's use the name we've declared inside here below this. Console.log your name is name2. I'll save this. I run again. You can notice something. It is telling us that name2 is not defined. But what has happened there? We actually declared name2. Let's hover on this and see what happens. Name2 is declared, but it is never used. But think of it for a moment. We declared it here, but it's telling us that it is never read or never used. But we used it here. What has happened? In JavaScript, when we're talking about variable scope, there are two types of scope. The first one is global, and the second one is local. The global scope is the scope that is visible to all other scopes. It contains the variables that are declared outside the blocks of code. So when you see these curly braces are used to show blocks of code. Any code that is declared outside this curly brace, any code that is declared outside this curly brace is called a global scope. But the ones that are declared inside are local. Local scope cannot be used globally, which is what we are trying to do here. We declare this code locally inside some curly braces, and we want to use it globally. It won't work. But if we cut this out, and we use it outside, thereby making it a global scope, and we run again, you see it is printed to the screen. I believe you understand what I'm saying. So we have local scope and we have global scope. For instance, let's create something. Let's names. Just because I have already declared name, that's why I'm using names. Let's Caleb. That is the name is Caleb, declaring the name. Then let's get name, which is a function. Let's use this one. console.log, we pass in names which we've used. Let age be equal to 24, which is in a function. It won't clash with this one because it is in a function, but let's call this age2 so we don't get confused. Let age be equal to 24. If 2 is greater than 0, console.log names and console.log age. Alright, and then let location be equal to India. We come out of here and we run the function and console.log age. I want you to understand this. Alright, now if I comment this out so we see what I just did now, if I should run this, what happens? We get an error which says ages is not defined, but we declared it inside here. In other words, to break this down, I would put this like this. We declared names, this is global because it is outside. Age 2 is a child, that is, it is inside. We call this, because of the fact that it is inside, we call it a local scope because it is local. And then what else have we declared there? Location is also local. So in what we've done here, we also declared get name. Okay, looking at what we've done here, I use that to print out all of this so you understand better. This is outside this curly brace. You can see because of that it is global. This one is global. Let's take a look at this. This is global. I'm sorry, this is local because it is declared inside it. And you can see that inside this local we also declared another one. So this is a parent of this one. In other words, even if we run this outside here, it won't print because of the fact that it is, let's do that, and I'll comment this out. So let's save this first. If I run this, we still get the errors, the age error. So I'll comment this out and we run. Now you can see, okay, I have to take this out as well, not declared. Okay, you can now see location is not defined as well, because if we look at what we've done here, this is not written inside the curly brace. If we take this out and we put in here, save it and run, age is not defined. Are we using age somewhere? Okay, we're using here, that is, I'll take this out as well. Okay, you can see this is printed now because of the fact that we have written this location inside of here, and I declare this as H2. So that is what we should understand when we talk about local scope and global scope. We should be mindful or conscious of these curly brace signs whenever we are writing inside of this, inside of any brace, and we're declaring something. We should know that whatever we declare inside any particular curly brace, the the scope of that variable which is declared is local only to that scope. It cannot be used outside. But the one that is declared outside, which is global, we can use this name inside this function. We can use it inside this function as well. It will still run because it is global. It will run in anywhere. I believe you now understand what scope of a variable is about.